A battle took place in northern Vietnam, robbing many valuable properties of the people. Watercraft were crushed by floodwaters like fragile objects. The bridge was strong enough to withstand the weight placed on it, but in the face of floods, it became too small. In the blink of an eye, the scary bridge suddenly disappeared in the flood. A powerful storm with heavy rain swept through a Chinese village, causing trees to fall and blowing away everything in its path. The flood rose high, causing the fragile hanging rake to shake violently, but it was very durable against the strong flood. It was an excellent check-in location, but I accidentally encountered a big wave crashing in. Fortunately, no one was in danger then. The flood suddenly hit the city as fast as Mother Nature's fury. Cars and motorbikes had no time to react. They could only look at each other in despair before being swept away like autumn leaves. The result? There was a free parking lot in the middle of the water, chaotic traffic, and drivers could only sit and complain. When a bolt of lightning struck, the ancient tree took the full brunt of the heaven's wrath. A fire broke out, and the tree trunk split open. Nature displayed its boundless power. There was a terrible landslide in China. Fortunately, people and vehicles were okay. Do you remember the collapse of the Twin Towers in the US? Watching and thinking back, I still feel scared. A huge lightning bolt struck vehicles on the road, but fortunately, no one was injured by that force. A massive flood hit Indonesia, sweeping away everything in its path. Huge boats and vehicles piled up in front of the bridge, choked by the rushing water, swirling in a fury and sinking, creating terrifying chaos. The raging storm hit the mainland like a giant monster, roaring in the dense rain. The wind howled madly, lifting the roofs and tossing furniture like useless pieces of paper. Trees were uprooted, falling like dominoes. Public buildings could not withstand it and collapsed in an instant. The sound of rain, wind, and collapse resounded like a chaotic symphony of nature, leaving behind a scene of devastation and horror. A small tornado was playing on the village road, like a naughty child looking for a playmate. It spun around, kicking up dust and sand, then suddenly greeted a man. The majestic clear waterfall suddenly turned into a ferocious monster. The roar resounded throughout the sky, and the water poured in torrents. Tourists ran away in panic, narrowly escaping. A majestic but terrifying scene appeared in the city sky. A giant black cloud rolling as if it wanted to swallow the whole city. Nature does not show favor or mercy to any nation. When its anger flares up, everyone becomes a victim. The raging floods sweep away houses, trees, and roads, leaving nothing in their path. The murky water penetrates every corner, overflowing cities and villages, taking people's dreams and hopes with it. Everything we have worked hard to build can be submerged in that moment. We cannot control nature's wrath, but we can prepare to limit its consequences. Early warning systems, strong dikes, reasonable planning, and environmental protection awareness are important measures to help reduce the damage. Protecting nature is protecting ourselves. Otherwise, nature will continue to respond with increasingly fierce fury. Let's act today, before it's too late, to ensure a safer future for all of us. A terrifying scene occurred. A dome of a large stadium collapsed into pieces. The persistent rains weakened the ground, making it so waterlogged that it could no longer bear it. Suddenly, the hill collapsed with a terrifying roar, dragging the house next door into the rubble. The earth and rocks rushed down, creating a horrifying scene of devastation. The bustling ski resort was shaken when an avalanche hit. Luckily, the tourists managed to escape the danger. The sky suddenly excitedly and trolled to the city with an unannounced hailstorm. The hailstones fell from the sky, denting cars and motorbikes and shattering their windows. Trees and outdoor equipment could only helplessly bear the blow. People on the street dodged and complained to the heavens, but nature still coldly vented its anger. Everyone remembers a historic hailstorm, but no one wants to see it again. The flood came like a giant monster, furiously sweeping away everything in its path. It submerged houses and fields and cruelly took away the land, where people had lived and cultivated for generations. The horrific landslides left behind scenes of devastation, leaving people penniless, painfully watching their homeland being erased in the sea of water. Nature was angry. People could only sigh. The man stood before the raging flood, hesitantly looking at his beloved house. Should I go home or not? After a few seconds of thinking, he decided to run as fast as he could. Luckily, the flood swept everything away, except him.
Maka itulah yang akan dipetik. Maka dari itu kita sebagai manusia hendaklah menanam banyak kebaikan agar bisa memetik hal yang luar biasa di masa mendatang. Dan semoga kita dijauhkan dari segala macam mara bahaya dan juga bencana mengerikan yang bisa terjadi begitu saja. Kali ini kita bakalan bahas detik-detik.
In Indonesia, the river water rose so high that the dam broke. To save the crowded residential area, people bravely used many trucks to block the floodwater. When the storms hit, they sweep everything away as if it belonged to them. Nothing can withstand the storm's fury. Houses, trees, and roads. The wind howls, the rain pours down, the sky darkens, and everything is chaotic. People have only two choices: run away or be swept away. Looking at the roofs being lifted off and the trees being uprooted, everyone feels so tiny before the destructive power of nature. A safe shelter is the only thing that can save lives. Because even if there is a minor delay, the storm will be devastation. It is strange to witness a dangerous phenomenon, but also a fantastic scene. A cluster of machines formed like a tornado running from the ground to the sky. wave hit the Indonesian coast, scattering the children camping nearby. Some ran away, But some curious and rare people stayed behind to film the scene we just saw.
That jumped right over my head. Over my head.
The raging flash flood rushed down the hill like a monster, sweeping away the large houses in its path. Fortunately, the disaster happened during the day, so everyone escaped.